Are we ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Totally. My name is Shubhadha. My pronouns are they, she. I'm currently in my final year of my undergraduate degree. I'm studying at SIM and doing economics and management. I remember being a kid, and the first time I think I dressed a bit more masculine and stuff, and my mom's like, "Oh, you look weird. Like you don't look like a girl, and like you shouldn't wear that because it makes you look like one of them." And I had no idea what one of them meant at that point. I did ask questions, did not really get any answers, and what she meant by one of them at that point was one of the trans people that she's used to seeing in India, like basically the Hijra community and stuff. And I've seen them before when I've been to India, but again, I never thought anything out of the ordinary. I was just like, okay, they seem like people who want to be them. Like, it was never a out of the ordinary thing for me. So I've heard those comments all my life before even realizing I was queer or what queer meant, what being a woman meant, or what not feeling associating with the idea of being a woman meant to me and stuff. So when I started trying to figure out what my sexuality was, what it meant, or what any of those feelings meant at that point, I'm like, so if everyone's thinking about guys, should I be thinking about guys? Should I not be thinking about girls? Is it not normal to think about girls like this? And all of that. And I think what made me realize it is that, okay, and because I was in such a traditional school setting, even the teachers were very quick to judge when you're acting out of the ordinary. Like they were very strict in the kind of gender roles they were expecting, and they would be okay, but they'd be very weirded out when they're like, oh, you're a girl and a guy, you can't hang out together. And there was a lot of moral policing for girls in my school, and so they were like, okay, you gotta act like a girl, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, because you're a girl, because you're a guy. And I think it happened from both. It was a lot more stressed on the girls in the school, but they did do that. So they're like, oh, you're a guy, you can't do this, you shouldn't be doing this is not how a man behaves. And I think because of that, I realized, okay, whatever I'm feeling is different for sure. I have no idea if it's a right feeling, if it's a wrong feeling. Do I suppress this? Do I think about it? Is there something wrong with me? Am I supposed to change it? And I think all of those feelings, all of those questions, definitely knowing that I can't talk to anyone about it, made me kind of just having it all in my head as the 12, 13-year-old was very overwhelming. And I did stop for a while, after the incident with my mom and stuff. I was just like, okay, it was a lot in my head about wanting to take that step about killing myself or anything. But then it was so much pain, and I had so much other stuff going on with school and friends, and I think when you aren't being your authentic self, it's really hard to form friendships or any kind of relationships with people because you're always feeling like you're hiding a part of yourself. But while trying to figure that out and not really knowing you can talk to them, but not knowing what's happening with you inside, even if you want to talk to them, kind of just makes you distance yourself from your friends without even realizing it. And I didn't even know I was doing it. I just saw a lot of my friendships ending. And I was like, okay, that was another stressor, because in school, when you're teenagers, your friends are one of the most important priorities you have in life. Sometimes even more than parents, you place your friendships above because of the way you're told. It's like, okay, oh my god, I'm growing older and I want to be with my friends, I want to do this, I want to do that. You don't feel like a kid anymore, so you don't want to, that's why most teenagers end up fighting with their parents, so there was obviously that. So I think in terms of that, I think I was just there one day and it just kind of hit me thinking hey, remember what you used to do? That helped. It wasn't the best, but that helped. And at that point, it was also a conflicted feeling, because it was like, see, I know it could go very wrong. And it is not necessarily a good thing, and it is probably a bad thing, but can't be that bad if it's helpful, right? And like, I mean, it's the same kind of addiction, I think I would say, in a sense, like addicting yourself to the physical pain to deal with the emotional pain, the same way people use substances. You're using something from the outside to numb the inside pain. So I think one of the things that really helped me was just being able to have conversations with people who've gone through similar experiences. So when my friends started sharing and I shared, and it, as much as it was trauma bonding and probably not the healthiest way to start coping with it, it was really the thing that made me take the first step to realizing that there is a other way where I can not love the idea that I am still living a long life and that I may not have ended my life the way I wanted to, but I could still make a difference with the little things and try to enjoy the parts of my life that I can. And I think one of the first things and the other thing that made me realize that was also looking in the mirror and realizing, when I realized I don't recognize myself anymore, a lot of the time initially was just like, okay, yes, this is not you, but you're gonna try as hard to be this person that people expect you to be. But that got very exhausting, and obviously that impacted, that showed in other aspects of my life in terms of school and everything. So I realized, okay, this is not working, and I don't want to hide myself anymore. And one of the things that helped me was I ended up changing schools when I was around 16, and the school had a lot more accepting nature, and we did talk about queer culture, and they had a queer club, and I was so scared to join it, but I decided I'm going to do it anyways. The first day I was there, we were supposed to introduce ourselves, and I was just like, oh, I'm just an ally, knowing very well I was lying to everyone and myself at that point. And I think just having that inclusive nature made, just having the one conversation, the person who was leading the club, her talking about her experience, made me realize, okay, there is nothing wrong with me. I am different, but there's nothing wrong with me. But I also knew I couldn't just come out and be myself at that point, because it was so new to me, and I was still so used to thinking that, okay, there is something wrong with me. And when it got really exhausting trying to pretend the person I was not, like trying to be the person that I was clearly not, I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore, so I'm gonna make a change. And around 16 or 17, which is around the time I started coming out to people, well, the other thing I realized is that I've been trying to end my life for so long. And I think one of the reasons I realized that I might be doing it is I figured so many things in life I felt like was out of my control. Maybe trying to end my life the way I wanted to was the way I wanted to establish control in my life. And that kind of thought got me thinking, so, okay, maybe if it's just a lack of control, you can take small steps to help you get there. You may not have it all, but those small steps, those small moments of happiness will make living a little less miserable. And again, life, I realized, and though I was trying to end it because I thought it was under my control, sometimes I figured death, in a sense, could be very much out of my control too. That I think I have a long life and I'm trying to cut it short, but maybe life's gonna cut it short for me anyways. Do I really want to be in that moment 2 seconds away from ending everything and not have anything to look back on, or regret that I wasn't able to be myself? So I think that's what finally got me to like get help, in a sense. The last time I remember harming myself in terms of like self-harm was about two years ago on my 19th birthday. And it's not that the pain and all my feelings magically disappeared overnight, which led me to stop. It was a conscious effort that made me feel like, okay, I want to do something different. I want to stop doing it. And that is something that it's still an effort that I'm making every single day. The pain's not going to magically disappear. The pain can be very addicting. So like any other addiction, you just take it one day at a time. There are still a lot of times where I still think about doing it again, or trying to harm myself, kill myself. And it's about making the conscious effort, and that's the only thing. It's not gonna go away. You're not healing overnight. It's always about the conscious effort.